Welcome back to Math 107 College Algebra. In this video, we're going to take a look at the idea of an inverse function. And the first thing we need to look at is when a function is going to have an inverse. So for that, we have a condition called 1 to 1. And what that means is that if f of x 1 equals f of x2, then x1 equals x2. Now, we can do that algebraically, but there's really not a point to doing that. What's better is if you graph the function. So there's a graph. And I draw a horizontal line here. That function's 1 to 1. It's only going to touch the graph once. We can see here that it touches the graph 3 times. So I can draw a horizontal line in such a way that it intersects the graph more than once. So that is not 1 to 1. Whereas a 1 to 1 function so I'll just draw something there. Now, anywhere that I draw a horizontal line, it's only going to touch the graph once, so that is a 1 to 1 function. So now we've established that a function's 1 to 1. We can define what an inverse function means. So the notation of that's going to be f inverse of x is the inverse of f of x if and only if f composed with f inverse of x is equal to f inverse composed with f of x. Either one of those is equal to the identity function. Now, a consequence of that definition, which many textbooks, including our own, incorrectly state as the definition, f of x equals y if and only if f inverse of y equals x. But that consequence is what we can use to find the inverse. So if I give you the function f of x equals 2x plus 3 over x minus 1. First thing I'm going to do is replace f of x with y. And now I'm going to switch my x and y. And now I want to simplify this, get y by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply both sides by y minus 1. I'm going to go ahead and distribute the x. And now the key is I need to get everything with a y by itself. So first I'm going to subtract 2y from both sides. And now I can add x to both sides. Now I need to factor a y out of the left-hand side. And now I can divide both sides by the x minus 2. I need to come over here where I have more room. And finally, I replace y with f inverse. And that is how we find the inverse of a function. If I wanted to, I could plug that back in and verify they're indeed inverses of each other. But that is the method that we use to find the inverses. We will explore that a little bit more in class on Thursday, and I will see you then.